Go.
Hey everybody, at home edition, just a tip. This is for Joel up in Chicago. Box squats, very useful tool if you have a sensitive joint and you're trying to get those ergonomics and that body commands that you have to make to execute a squat properly. So really fast, okay? This is what you usually see people doing, right? They got a box, they set it up somewhere above where the hip is gonna come to parallel with the knee. And for some reason, once they're here, you see them wind up like this and they start to, generate a lot of force that they're going to transfer to kind of get up. To me, what that reminds me of is like an elderly person trying to get out of a couch. What is a box squat, guys? What you're gonna do is you're gonna control that descent, because keep in mind, once we get back to the gym, we got access to those free weights. You could have anywhere from like 85 to 275 on your back when you're doing these. So you can't come down at the rate of gravity, and like slam your seat bones and your pelvis into a bench. Wow, that's gonna hurt. So that controlled descent all the way in, I'm not disengaging the muscles here, and I'm definitely not trying to wind up to stand up and make that transfer of energy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that you can swing your hip up, because if you notice, that hip is should be parallel or less than parallel with the knee. So this way you come straight up out of it, all right? If that looks like it's really difficult, it's because it is. We're gonna lean back to stand up. You hear a lot of power lifters and stuff screaming at each other, elevate your chest cavity, elevate your chest cavity, when they're pulling on a deadlift or a squat, and that's where it's gonna come from. Think less about driving your feet into the floor, think less about doing anything to get up out of this position, and think about elevating yourself from the chest cavity, right? So that way, eventually, you can start to add some weight to it, right? We got 44 pounds of pure sugar, right? So this way we come down and we stand right on up. And then eventually what you can do is we can start to add some depth to these. And little bit by little bit, you add a little bit of depth, because that depth translates, I should say, to more work. So I haven't even added any weight, but I made these a lot harder because I increased my depth. Controlled descent, squeeze, all the way up. This is a great way to get that alignment and that body positioning, so that way there's as minimal amount of tension and distribution going into the joints, and you maximize that tension along your muscles. That's just a tip.